Thank you to the QP Ontario International Solidarity Committee. Just want to mention that we are here in front of the South African Consulate General. We are demanding justice from the South African government. We're demanding justice, and that those, not only the police that shot those mine workers, but also the officials and the police and any other government officials that were responsible or implicated for this massacre, that they be held accountable. We know the government has called for an inquiry. An inquiry is important, but an inquiry needs action, and it needs those people that are responsible in those institutions to be prosecuted. But we're also here to hold accountable transnational corporations. So UK-owned Longman is the third largest platinum producer in the world. Why can't it offer its workers or grant its workers decent wages and decent living conditions? This company made $1.9 billion in 2011, so they have the money, and they have the obligation to treat the workers in a dignified way and with respect. Our next speaker is Ted Turner. He's here on behalf of Labour for Palestine, Toronto. Let's give it up for Ted.
Thank you very much. Please forgive me while I read this. It's very short. As Labour activists involved in the struggle against the Zionist colonial occupation of Palestine, we at Labour for Palestine Toronto strongly condemn the atrocity occurred at the Longman mine in South Africa, Thursday, August 16th, 2012. There is no justification or excuse for this mass killing by the police in collusion with the government of South Africa. Mine workers in South Africa have a long history of struggle and resistance to their deplorable wages, benefits, and the brutality of their working conditions. As one striking worker quoted as saying, "It's better to die than work for that shit. People are coming back here tomorrow. I'm not going to stop striking. We're going to protest until we get what we want." They have said nothing to us. Police can try and kill us, but we won't move. Well, they did kill them in a coordinated, well-planned massacre. What no one is there to say publicly, aside from the miners themselves, is that the mining industry remains dependent on cheap and flexible labor, much of it coming continually from neighboring countries. The 2012 Benchmarks Foundation study of platinum mines in Northwest Province uncovered a number of factors linked to rising worker discontent. Longman was singled out as a mine with high levels of fatality, very poor living conditions for workers, and unfulfilled community demands for employment. The massacre of 45 people, including I think it's now 37 at Marikana in the Northwest Province, is an inevitable outcome of a system of production and exploitation that has historically treated human life as cheap and disposable. There are recent reports that the strikes in South African platinum mines are spreading. The unrest could possibly spread to other mining commodities like gold and iron. In any case, the mine workers in South Africa will continue to resist corporate exploitation in their long struggle to improve their working lives. We at Labour for Palestine Toronto send our solidarity. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Labour for Palestine. We know the important connection between the struggle against apartheid in South Africa and currently for the Palestinian people against Israeli apartheid. Is anyone here from the Asian Canadian Labour Alliance, ACLA? If you're here, we'd like to invite you up to give a message. Okay, we'll give the folks from ACLA a bit of time to get here. Is Barry around? Barry Weisletter from Socialist Action? Let's give it up for Barry, please, in Socialist Action. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Sisters and brothers, comrades and friends, on behalf of Socialist Action, one of the co-sponsors of this event, we're pleased to join with you in condemning this heartless massacre of striking mine workers and stand with you in solidarity with the South African workers' movement. There are several things I think that we need to keep in mind in the present situation. First of all, do not forget that the Canadian business class, particularly the giant mining bosses like Barrick Gold and Goldcorp, are among the worst offenders when it comes to despoiling the environment and exploiting mine workers and suppressing unions.
Keep in mind that the Harper government is totally complicit with obscene Canadian mining practices in Latin America, in Asia, in Africa. Harper is the advance man of the nature exploiters and union busters in this dirty business. The massacre of the Marikina miners also helps to place in context the crimes of Lonmin Corporation. When the profits are highest, life is cheap on the balance sheet of the owners. This reinforces our demand that the mines and mills globally should be nationalized and operated under workers' control, if operated at all. And what about the government of South Africa? This is an African National Congress government which campaigned against apartheid. With the ANC in the tripartite alliance is the South African Communist Party. And yet, nearly 20 years after the 1993 transition that set the former white racist rulers off scot-free, the majority of the South Africans suffer economic apartheid still.
That's right, shame.
To implement its Freedom Charter. The Freedom Charter promised to nationalize the natural resources of the country. But what is the reality, sisters and brothers? The reality is the workers own nothing, and the mine owners own the police. The state is the servant of the super rich. Its goods and uniforms shoot and kill strikers. And ANC politicians issue apologies to the families of the stricken after ensuring that the interests of the owners are totally secure. South African workers' movement. We need to redouble our efforts to win justice for the mine workers in South Africa, Asia, and Latin America. We need to support nationalization measures recently taken in Venezuela and Bolivia. We should understand that economic apartheid will end only through socialist revolution. Victory to the mine workers of South Africa. Solidarity forever. Workers to power.
Our sound system is taking a bit of a break. Orlando here from the Trotskyist League is going to give a message as well. Let's go again. We're here as communists to condemn the massacre of the black striking mine workers, but we have to ask, who is responsible for this? And the responsibility lies with the capitalist Bushel Tripartite Alliance, of which the ANC is the main partner, along with the reformist SACP and the reformist Cosalto unions. People talk here about justice, but the only way to get justice for the working class around the world is through workers' revolution. So no inquiry, nothing by the capitalist government is going to give justice. Now, let's also keep in mind that cops are strike breakers. So cops and security guards are not part of the workers' movement. They're not part of the unions. Also, let's talk about the Canadian mining companies. We have to fight for class struggle here at home to withdraw capitalism here around the world. So we have a stand for our people in South Africa, and our main slogan is break with the Bushel Tripartite Alliance for a black-centered workers' government in South Africa, for workers' revolution around the world.
Let's give it up for Orlando and the Trotskyist League. Is anyone here yet from the Asian Canadian Labour Alliance? Where is our Labour Alliance? Come on up, I think one of the strengths of this rally is that we mobilize so quickly, and as you can see around you, that we are a big, strong group, and we're bringing a strong message of resistance and solidarity to the South African authorities. We're bringing a strong message of solidarity to the mine workers and their families, that we're standing in solidarity, and we continue to support the struggle. And it's important that this has been organized by organizations like the Pan-African Solidarity Network, as well as labor unions like the OFL, CUPE, and we're very happy to have here Jojo Geronimo from the Asian Canadian Labour Alliance. Let's give it up for Jojo.
warm greetings of solidarity from our sisters and brothers from the Asian Canadian Labor Alliance and our sister organization, Justicia for Migrant Workers. Solidarity. So we stand with you today in solidarity with our sisters and brothers in South Africa, fallen though they may be, and grieving though they may be today. We all know that they will continue their struggle against injustice and building a stronger movement. We are inspired by their example. At the same time, we are obliged to actually stand with you that whenever such an injustice occurs anywhere in the world, we are obligated to come out and join our forces and voices to protest and to expose the injustice against us all. So we put the blame not only on those who were directly responsible for the massacre, but also the very root causes, because beyond or behind every massacre, behind every discrimination and oppression is the system of the neoliberal capitalist regime that sometimes disguise themselves in the name of the austerity program as they do here in Canada. So we protest the system of oppression of neoliberal capitalism, be it in the form of austerity programs, of structural adjustment, of privatization, of layoffs, or cut-offs against public services. We protest against them all, and we from ACLA and Justicia resolve to build with you a joint movement and a joint struggle because of our common cause. Solidarity!
Folks, we've only got a few more speakers left. I know that it's hot, but let's just hold out a little bit longer. We also have a spoken word artist, drummer, musician that's on his way, Ruben Benny-Esguerra, that is gonna give us some nice music and some nice rhythms. A few more slogans here with Yolissa.
That's a big junk there.
Down with neo-apartheid! Down with neo-apartheid! We condemn the bosses of these mines! We call on the workers to unite! Workers unite around the world!
Workers unite around the world!
Come on, I can't hear you! Workers unite around the world!
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 Peace and solidarity!
Peace and solidarity!
Power to the American mine workers!
Power to the
Power to the Maricana martyrs!
Power to the
The people united will never be defeated! 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 I just wanted to say a couple of things very quickly. As of this morning, Anglo-American mine workers went on strike and refused to go to work. I also wanted to say that apparently London Mines has changed their CEO as of today. I also wanted to let you know that, there's something very, very sinister about this particular massacre. People may have heard that according to media reports, people's bodies, the bodies of the mine workers who were massacred, were mutilated. Some of those bodies were missing parts. Okay, so there's something
Workers united will never be defeated.
Long live socialism!
Long